What is going on, guys? It was an awesome trading day on Friday. The S&P 500 had an amazing uptrend there, actually popping above that key $400 resistance, which we talked about a ton last week. That was amazing that we were able to break up through that with a lot of momentum, and honestly, we continued up pretty much the whole entire day on Friday. It wasn't just the SPY. We had the NASDAQ popping up in so many tech stocks like AMD, NVIDIA, Meta, Apple, Microsoft, and pretty much all the stocks in the tech sector, along with just every other sector, did pretty well. We can see on the heat map right now, Apple was up 3.5% Friday, NVIDIA was up 2.47%, AMD was up over 3%, Tesla was up, and we just had a lot of stocks in the green, as you can see. Pretty much the only stock in the red on the heat map was Costco, and that's because they had some negative earnings. But other than that, everything else was doing very, very well. And it was very nice to see just so many breakouts across the broader market overall. Even a lot of the growth stocks like Palantir, DraftKings, Zoom, stocks like that started moving back to the upside. Even if they had a rough morning, they ended up closing green because we just had that much momentum come in. But guys, one of the biggest things for this week is going to be Jerome Powell's testimony. He's going to be testifying to Congress on Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty much about the Fed's monetary policy. This is pretty much something that they do semi-annually, so it's going to be pretty big here for Powell. You guys can check out the Yahoo Finance article that goes a little bit more in depth with it, but for the most part, he's going to deliver the semi-annual monetary policy to Congress. I've seen this before. His comments can definitely impact the market quite a bit. And then on Friday, we're going to actually have a pretty big jobs report come out as well. So that jobs report is going to be pretty big on Friday. And of course, we will talk about this as we go further into the week here. Of course, I just can't forget there is some other stuff with some central banks here. Looks like the Bank of Japan, Australia, and Canada are going to hold their monetary policy meetings this week. I'm really watching Japan's. I think that's going to be a really big one for us. And then the UK is going to have some GDP data come out Friday, which could actually be pretty big for the overall market as well. But like I said, we'll talk about this as we go further into the week. As far as earnings are concerned, guys, screenshot this if you want to. We saw some awesome earnings plays last week in both directions, honestly. We saw them go all over the place. And this week on Tuesday, we have C Limited, Dick's Sporting Goods, CrowdStrike. Wednesday, we have Campbell's Soup. Shout out to Keisha, always trading Campbell's. Asana and After Hours. Then Thursday, we have Oracle and After Hours with DocuSign as well. So there's quite a bit of earnings this week. It's honestly slowing down a little bit, not as big as the past couple weeks, but I'll tell you, C Limited, CrowdStrike, and Oracle are going to be three huge stocks that I am watching as the week progresses. But let's get back into the price action, which, I think that's what everybody really wants to see here. So we had a lot of great breakouts. If we go to a lot of daily charts, especially some of these bigger tech stocks like NVIDIA or Meta, for example, we're starting to see some huge green candles extending to the upside here. And if we get a nice continuation up this week, we're going to see some awesome breakouts out of these highs that we've been sitting at here. So Meta is kind of running up towards big resistance around $196 to $200. It looks like there's a pretty good chance that we'll be running up to possibly retest that this week, especially with that momentum that we saw Friday. If we go to NVIDIA's daily chart, this is another one. They're running up in a huge way right at that 240 resistance level up there. So there's just so many big levels here that, we need to watch for with some of these tech stocks. And I think that once they start breaking out, we could start to catch some pretty good trades as the week progresses. And I really think that NVIDIA could be a great one come Monday morning to the upside. Now, I know that we've been talking about NVIDIA a little bit to the downside, but hey, you cannot doubt some of this upwards pressure that we're seeing here with NVIDIA and just with the market overall. Like when you go see a heat map like this, that's a pretty good heat map. You generally don't see it be this much into the green. So that just shows how much, I guess, momentum that there really was last week and on Friday. And even if we go to the SPY, that is getting a nice extension off of lower support right around 393 to 394 also. And now we're back above 400 again. So I think that the SPY is a pretty good chance to recover up. And, you know, the SPY, as far as price action goes, had a pretty decent dip lately. You know, it's been kind of falling back off to the downside a little bit and honestly just not looking the best. But now that we fell back down, it kind of seems like that we're keeping this small uptrend here going. And I did kind of notice that there's a trend line here on the daily. Now, it's not perfect, but we are getting a little bit of a bounce here right at that like trend line. Now, we did fall below it momentarily, but we got back above it pretty easily. So I would say that constitutes a bit of a bounce there, and we might continue on this nice uptrend. And it does look like the SPY is bouncing off key support, like I said, at 393, 394. And then, of course, we're going to be running up into resistance now, up around 408 to 410. I'm really happy with that price action Friday, getting us up to the resistance that we got to, honestly, 404 to 404.50. That is a big level there. And I think that if we continue breaking that this week, we'll have a pretty easy test of 408 and then 410. But 408 is going to be that big overhead level on the SPY for all of my traders out there. To the downside, there's a lot of levels to watch. Like I said, 404 to 404.50. I'm even watching 402 and then $400 even. We'll talk about more levels in tomorrow's video, but you know, that's pretty much the gist of everything right there. But let's get right into our momentum plays this week. And with the first one is actually going to be the SPY. So I figured I'd mention it while we're sitting there on the chart. So with SPY here, we're starting to break above that big resistance around 404. If we could actually break above 405 come Monday morning, I like SPY to the upside. So watch 405 to the upside on the SPY there. Now for the second stock, it is going to be, you know, a bit of a volatile one in Tesla here. So Tesla actually had a pretty good recovery last week, but they also had a lot of downwards movement as well, and they're kind of rejecting off of $200. So I like this one for both directions. If we can break out above $200 and 50 cents to the upside, watch for Tesla going up. Now, if we do end up falling down under 196, I'm going to watch for some puts to the downside. So I like Tesla to the upside above $200.50 or 201, I guess, if you want to play it a little safer. To the downside, I like it below 196. So those are the levels there on Tesla. The third momentum play is going to be on NVIDIA, the big chip stock that was flying up last week. It's actually like triple or quadruple topping at its high here around 239. If we can break above 240 on Monday morning, go ahead and watch for some calls here. I think NVIDIA could be an awesome play to the upside. So keep your eyes on SPY, Tesla, and NVIDIA all to the upside here this week. With that Momentum Friday, I can't help but want to play them up. There is that downside level on Tesla, though, just in case we keep rejecting off 200. I know Tesla actually fell down last week with their meeting, or I should say their, what was that, Investor Day, and then they actually ended up popping back up a little bit on Friday there as the market did a little bit better. So figured I'd cover that for a second as well. Now our unusual options play for today is very interesting. So let's get into that. It's usually Mike's favorite part of the video. So check this out. On Friday, somebody put $1.6 million into the FSLR 230 strike calls expiring April 14th of 2023. I'm going to go out to the daily chart of FSLR real quick. I'm going to throw this on there. They entered this on Friday for anyone that is curious about this. Now, this one is very interesting to me. FSLR has a bunch of momentum in the short term. I mean, I can't even believe how much FSLR has been flying up here. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried that they're shorting these 230 calls, but with the momentum that we're seeing on FSLR right now, it's hard to maybe not think that, you know, they're looking for a short-term uptrend here, but I don't know. I think FSLR is getting a little bit overextended. It kind of makes me feel like they might be shorting these, and there is a possibility that that's the case or that these could actually be covered calls as well, but it's a lot of money going in, $1.6 million into those 230 strike calls. So we're only at $210 was pretty much where we closed Friday. So we're still like $20 away from being in the money there at 230. I don't know. It sounds like they kind of shorted it. But if you do see more momentum with FSLR this week, possibly watch it to the upside. That was an insane earnings continuation. And I just could not believe that they continued up with such velocity and just such momentum after those earnings. I thought eventually it would slow down, but it just did not. It was one of those big stocks that really helped carry the markets last week. And congratulations to our member of the day this week, Bubba Do. Bubba, thank you for being active in the Discord. I appreciate you joining up. And as always, if you guys want to be member of the day, just join the Discord, be active. There'll be links down below and, a lot of opportunities and stuff like that in there for free day trades and stuff like that as well. So join up. It's an awesome community. Lots of guys going over stocks and options to buy all day long. So check it out. I think you guys would love it. And there's even some awesome opportunities in the premium section of the Discord as well. But hey, it's been an awesome video, guys. There's been a lot of stuff to go over. So one of the big things that I wanted to talk about really quickly was just to reiterate some of these earnings. We have SE on Tuesday. On Thursday, we have Oracle and DocuSign there, obviously, as the week goes on. But the big thing is going to be Powell's testimony to Congress on Tuesday and Wednesday. This is going to be huge. Anytime there's Fed speakers, there can be a lot of momentum. Last week with the SPY, we started really ripping to the upside after Bostic started speaking. And he's not actually even a voting member of the Federal Reserve. He's just like one of those extra members that are in there if you look into the members at all. But it's pretty big. He had some statements that he came out with and it ended up moving the market in a pretty crazy way. And I think that Powell is going to be very, very important to watch for coming this week. So keep your eyes on the overall market with the SPY. Keep your eyes on DXY with the dollar. I even think he's going to affect gold prices like metals like GLD, which had actually a really good day on Friday. If the dollar keeps falling and gold keeps coming up, GLD might not actually be a bad dip buy as the week goes on. But hey, I appreciate you guys joining up. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't yet subscribed. I know this was a bit different of a video than usual. Mike's obviously not here. He's going to be traveling around a little bit this week, so I will be taking over. But of course, if you guys need anything, just let me know in the Discord or anything like that. And as always, guys, have a great rest of your night and good luck trading the markets this week.